we're gonna be like talking about. The next one we're gonna be talking about is SNK, right? SNK, more specifically for Fatal Fury. And I don't wanna like, you know, what was it, overhype it? But something pretty big happened to Fatal Fury, right? And it's mostly down to just like, you know, celeb status. And dude, fucking something wild. And it was this. It was this trailer that debuted on Saturday. A legendary player joins a legendary game. So, Cristiano Ronaldo, world famous, like, I think like Portuguese soccer player for FIFA, is going to be joining Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. And that literally was the highlight of everybody's reaction. Like, even my own is like, what? I'm sorry, Ronaldo, the guy who is a all-star FIFA player, kind of like in the leagues of like Lionel David Messi, right? And so many other soccer stars in the Soccer Hall of Fame lineup, is going to be in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Huh. Huh. That is the, well, wildest, very much wildest thing that ever possibly like ever happened for Fatal Fury, right? Or especially like in a fighting game, right? It's kind of legitimately like crazy, you know? Like Fatal Fury is getting everybody like jazzed up, not just for SNK but for everybody around. Game looks good, game looks great, game feels great from a lot of like content creators' impressions that they get hands-on playability of the game, right? So Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is definitely like looking up. Let's just like add in more like popularity to Fatal Fury than it already has by adding like a world famous like soccer star to it, right? Now, I'm not like big into like soccer. I always watch FIFA with the family because it's like a time-honored tradition, you know, so to speak, in this day and age. I remember watching like World Cups here and there before and after my dad passed away. Every like 4 years, ever since like, I think my first experience was like 2010, right? And like Brazil was like, you know, going crazy. I think like the biggest bringing in more degeneracy, right? Jeez. I think like a lot of like my family really loves Argentina because of Lionel Messi. And I even like asked at like at the dinner table, like what is your obsession with like the Argentina team for like Bangladesh? Like, I think I remember hearing about it, I just like forgot about it because it was many moons ago. But a lot of Bangladeshis really love, like, if it's not cricket, and some of my family members are really into cricket, but if it's not cricket, then it's definitely soccer as like their second most favorite sport to watch. A lot of new age kids like me now got used to basketball and football because growing up here in the States, that's just the sport that we are indoctrinated into. But for old heads like mom, my uncles, my aunts, my grandmas, my grandpas, my godfathers, my godmothers, dude, soccer and cricket were the dominating things. So I know like a little bit, like Ronaldo, Messi, the Messis, right? Lionel and David Messi. No. David Messi? No, there's David Beckham. Yeah, David Beckham, there's Lionel Messi. Yeah, Lionel Messi. Or is it Lionel Messi? It's been so long. It's been so long. The German team that dominated like 1 year in the FIFA World Cup and everybody was like super sad and astonished. You know, things like that. USA always like, you know, underperforming in the FIFA World Cup. It's like the biggest like butt of the joke, you know? So yeah, I used to be like a big like soccer fan. I even had like a FIFA like games I used to have. Or like sports games, believe it or not. Everybody definitely had like a sports game growing up. Whatever like system that you have, it was like at least one or at most one. But that's more like, you know, my sports personal like history. As far as like, you know, fighting games are like concerned, right? We have not had like crazy wilder characters, right? Since, well, we have, let me correct myself, we have, right, with like, let's say Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, right? The Japanese version of Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter had Noromaru, and Noromaru was like a big deal, not to like us, right, over here in the States, but definitely a big deal in Japan, because Noromaru is basically like a Japanese comedian that works really well in Japan. And so it was only in Japanese ports of Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. And he's basically like the Pee Wee Herman or Mr. Bean of Japan. Just an all-time, all-around like greatest like comedian of like the time. I don't know if he still is like now, but it's also as like, it's a very like what the fuck kind of like inclusion. Almost to a point of like, you know, Negan in most recent year. Negan in the guy from Walking Dead in Tekken 7. What the fuck is a guy with a bat, with a spiked bat doing in Tekken? Fuck it, why not? Probably Harada or Michael Murray really liked the show back then, and so they just wanted to like include him in. And just like bring in more money, right? This is one of the more recent, more stark, like, mind-blown things that a fighting game could do, especially from SNK, right? Like I said about like sports, right? People are not too into soccer that really well, right? Most of like my kids, my generation, especially like brown kids growing up, mostly it teeters down. Their favorite sports are basketball and football. That's really much it. I'm like basing off like my experience from like my cousins who, you know, have like apps like bet.mgm or some shit, and they make like bets and things like that, and just root for like soccer or basketball teams. I'm like, yeah, that's the demographic. I used to be like that when I would watch like NBA basketball and support like, you know, the New Jersey Nets. I think that's the name. Yeah. But this does wonders to Fatal Fury, not just for like, you know, the publicity of like, you know, the what the fuck kind of like sort of thing, but also brings in, you know, cash and revenue to Fatal Fury and SNK. Now with the inclusion of Cristiano Ronaldo, a lot of people now are going to be heavily interested in Fatal Fury, more so than ever, right? And I think like SNK like needs it, you know, being like the most underdog like fighting game company, you know, there is, right? With not a lot of people can get into King of Fighters or Samurai Showdown, you know, things like that. Those are very like, you know, not to like the casual eye, very enticing games. They definitely look pretty, but it's not beating like the levels of like, let's say Smash or Tekken or Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, where they have massive like, you know, casual appeal. No. those are like, you know, different like stories altogether. SNK is like pure like, you know, fighting game company. And having like a stunt like this only just like brings in more people to play their game. Now, the level of extent, the extent to what Cristiano Ronaldo will be for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, who knows, right? I think it's very unclear of how Ronaldo is going to be in Fatal Fury. Because the text says he's going to be like joining Fatal Fury. But what is like the level of like joining in over here? Is he going to be like a character, right? Is he going to be like a character in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves? I really hope so, right? I really hope so that like we get like a soccer star in Fatal Fury, kind of like a due recompense sort of thing, because, you know, the butt of the joke for SNK, especially for King of Fighters, is that no sports team. We never get an official sports team officially in the KOF canon outside of the one game that they were in. Outside of the one game they were in, and that was like King of Fighters 94. That is very true. Multiverses put in LeBron, right? Multiverses put in LeBron, but I think like with Multiverses, it's like a lot of like, you know, show stars and like Cartoon Network stars, Warner Brothers stars, everything. It's like the Smash Brothers, right? But I think that would be like equivalent to like, let's say LeBron was in Street Fighter, hypothetically speaking, right? That's more of a giant like, what the fuck, like, yo, what is LeBron doing in Street Fighter? And it might not. Yeah, you're right, because like, again, it's Ronaldo, right? Because it's like, it's a soccer star. I don't know if like what the level of appeal for Ronaldo is, right, to the outside parts of the world, but it will definitely do a lot good in the countries that, you know, that they're in, you know, right? Like, cause like what? Let me just like look this up. Ronaldo was... Where does Ronaldo come from? Oh, where is Ronaldo like from? Ah, Portugal. Okay, I was right. Okay. Yeah, it will do well mostly in like South America, right? And that's like a huge-ish like base for KOF. Might have like changed over the years, but yeah, man, like I think it will do like considerably well. But yeah, let's see. He might even be a voice, you know? He might even be a voice. Just a voice. Not an actual character, but a voice. Something along those lines. So maybe. But it is still kind of like a what the fuck situation, right? I think it is cool. But let's see how far it is, right? This is just like, you know, like literally like a teaser. This is literally like a teaser of Ronaldo like coming into Fatal Fury. So let's see if like, I'm hoping for like an actual character, things like that. And let's see what the future awaits us for football and Fatal Fury.